Correct. Actually, it went up to 24 days, from what I was told.
Yeah, they may have different regulations about how.
Oh, in China, they can do
far
whatever
they
they want, and
But
no
they
one's
can't
going to
quite
stop
do
them.
whatever they want. But yeah, I know what you mean. Okay, yeah.
I got a couple
I'll need
friends
to have a
that
look
live
at
in
that.
the country.
I've been kind of retired from that line of work for about 5 or 6 years, so I'm a little bit out of touch on it. But
Yeah, I got a couple
yeah.
friends that literally live in the country, and
that would it would be interesting to see how that embryo continued, and I wonder why, if that's a doable job on human embryos. I'm not aware of it being done on mice, which would seem to be the obvious thing.
It's not in their media.
I mean, China also tried to cut a guy's head off and replace his body, so
That
yeah.
failed.
It worked with the sheep, though. They got the sheep to work.
Which is cool.
What, chopping its head off?
Yep.
And put it on another sheep.
Yep.
Or Dolly. Or you talking about Dolly?
No, not the gene, not the clone.
No.
They actually cut off a sheep's head and put it on a different body and got it to live.
Yes.
Scary.
And they tried that with a human too. It failed, but they did try it.
Well, they didn't try it. The doctor tried it illegally, and he was convicted for it in China.
Yeah, but they still tried, nonetheless. It is illegal.
They meaning the single doctor, like the Chinese government. This is not a project by the Chinese government.
No, I understand what you mean, but there was probably at least 2 doctors, because you're gonna need 2.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. They did. Yeah, the illegal team. Sorry.
You made it sound like China. The Chinese government did this.
I didn't mean it that way. Yeah. No. I didn't mean that. I meant this group tried it and failed and got in trouble. Yes.
Try to get the stream up.
Yeah, I just ended it and started a new one.
Okay. There's the thing that says end stream, so you might want to click on that.
I did. I clicked on it and then clicked on it again to start the stream.
Oh, okay. Because I had that problem. Okay. So there's there's the second. Is it the second law of thermodynamics that states that matter cannot be created or destroyed?
And that's the first one.
Oh fuck.
The second one is that energy tends to increase. Move towards chaos, something like that. So it's entropy.
Thank you. Okay. God damn. And I'm applied physics major. I should know this shit. Well, actually, this is my weakest subject. So.
Do you know what the 0th one is? There's four laws of thermodynamics: 1, 2, 3, and 0.
No, I could Google it, but I want to cheat. But go ahead.
I'd have to Google it too. I don't remember off the top of my head.
So actually, I remember second law because somebody said it, and apparently somebody said it wrong, so I just adopted it without checking, like an idiot. Anyway, regardless, first law: energy cannot be created or destroyed. And is that, like, I asked this question earlier, but is that tied into the theist argument?
The what argument?
To a theist, to a God argument.
Yes.
Is that related?
Yes. So you could say God can't create energy because it can't be created or destroyed.
Okay. I have a question. If let's say that law of thermodynamics is wrong, let's say that energy can be created or destroyed, would that contribute? Oh, I don't think it would, but I'll ask you your opinions on it. Do you think it would contradict the God argument or the theist argument?
No, that would help the theist argument.
Really?
Yes. Does that mean that God could have created it? So if energy can't be created or destroyed, am I supposed to capture? I couldn't kill him because I'm supposed to capture him.
Play that video game.
Yep. It's like I jumped off a ledge and tried the execute button, but it didn't work. I'm like, what? Oh, I'm supposed to capture the target, so that's why it didn't work. It didn't let me kill him.
Okay, this is very interesting. So what you're saying that you think it helps the theist argument?
Yes, because if energy cannot be created or destroyed, then God can't create energy.
Okay.
So if energy can be created, then it's okay for God to have created energy.
Because I would have thought it would be the other way around. I would thought that like if energy can be created, and if there's a natural process that for the laws of physics that we probably haven't discovered yet, because there's a lot of things we haven't discovered, that states that maybe there is no reason that there needs to be a creator. When I mean by creator destroyed, I don't mean like intelligently created. Like it's a natural process that gets made just out of nowhere. So maybe I'm not wording it right, but yeah.
Well, no, in physics, the way energy is created is that there's a parallel system. So if you get a wave that has a +1 and a -1, the total net sum is 0. So you haven't created energy there, even though you've created usable energy. So usable energy can be created by separating energy into a positive and negative stream. So physics doesn't have any problem creating the Big Bang. It doesn't need to create energy to create the Big Bang. It just needs to create usable energy, and usable energy can be created by separating positive and negatively charged things like particles and antiparticles.
And that involves matter. Is that correct?
Quantum fields.
Like in light?
Like in everything in the universe. So that would include light.
Okay.
Yeah, light's just one of the things.
Electrons, protons.
Yep.
Quarks or whatever.
Everything is a quantum field.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that was pretty interesting. Small talk, but interesting. Looking for that.
Yep, no problem.
Does anybody have a race? Oh yeah, somebody has a race. Sorry, I sure kept on checking. All right, David, come up. Come up. Get your ass in there.
Thank you. All right, T-Jump, what's your best critique of virtue ethics?
It's based on motivation, so I think that the virtues themselves, having that motivation, would make something moral if your goal was to be honest or whatever, and you told someone they looked fat and it made them feel bad. That would be one example of using the virtue to do an action that had a negative consequence. And you can take that to its extreme by saying, like, I have the virtue of trying to be a good person, like, say, Superman or whatever. And so I'm going to try to save the planet by destroying something, a dam or whatever, and you end up killing millions of people accidentally. But your virtue, you had the virtue of trying to be a good person, then the virtue is morally more important than the consequence, which seems obviously wrong. So I'd say virtue ethics is wrong because the virtue, the intentionality, is irrelevant or significantly less important than the consequences of the actions.
All right. Do you think our moral intuition points toward holding some virtues as moral and not moral?
Some people's intuition does. I don't think that morality itself does.
All right. So, I mean, under your philosophy, and let me get this straight. Under your philosophy, it's not immoral to donate money to Hitler.
No, especially because if in the best of all possible worlds, Hitler couldn't do anything, so there'd be no reason he wouldn't be able to do that. So, like, if we existed in the best of all possible worlds, where it's impossible to force anybody to do anything they don't consent to, Hitler can't kill anybody. So you can give Hitler as much money as you want. Doesn't make a difference.
Does intentionality mean nothing in your system?
Pretty much.
Okay.
So yeah, if we live in a world where it's physically impossible to force anyone to do anything they don't consent to. It doesn't matter what your intentionality is. You're never going to be able to intend to do anything and cause it to have a have a negative consequence. You're never going to be able to do anything immoral to anybody because it doesn't matter what it's literally impossible for you to force anybody to do anything they don't consent to. So it doesn't matter what your intentions are.
In this best of all possible worlds, I kind of have a hard time sort of like thinking about how it's a world where there's no involuntary imposition of will, right? And so
okay, imagine everybody gets to design their own universe, and you get to make a list of all actions that you think are okay in your universe. They're the consensual actions, and a list of all actions that you think are not okay in your universe. They're the non-consensual actions. And then if everybody gets their own universe, you now have a universe a reality where no involuntary imposition of will takes place.
No.
And if I had a will to pop into someone's universe,
your will only applies to yourself and your universe. No
Okay.
involuntary imposition of will. Doesn't say no involuntary imposition of your will. It says no involuntary imposition of will, meaning all of the parties involved in the action. So if you have a will that involves some other person, both of you have to consent. Otherwise, it defaults to an involuntary imposition of will.
You said that really fast. Hold on.
Okay.
So so it's not your will. And then what did you say after that?
No involuntary imposition of will, not your will.
Okay.
So everyone involved in the situation has to consent. So if you will for somebody else to do something, if they don't consent, they have rights over themselves and their property. You have rights over yourself and your property. And it's not an involuntary imposition of will for you not to get what you want in a situation where there's multiple wills involved. So it would only be an involuntary imposition of will if it's an infringement on your will or your property regarding yourself and your property. Other people you don't get to will something in regards to other people.
Okay, I have a few more questions about this. With the kids, I've heard you say that you need intelligence and rationality to have a will, right? And then since kids, they don't have like the intellectual capabilities to consent to their wills and stuff, then what do we do with that situation? Like what? Like
we download
intelligence.
We download intelligence into their brain. We just give them intelligence. We give them the sufficient level of intelligence. Same with animals and everything else. We just give them the sufficient level of rationality to be able to consent, to be counted as consenting adults.
Well, why would you value that if they don't have will in the first place? Like, why are you valuing all conscious beings if you say that their will isn't appropriate to consider in the first place?
So all consciousness has inherent value, but some consciousness is unable to make like rational decisions. So we want to give them the ability to make rational decisions to be able to fulfill their will. They don't have the ability to make rational decisions. They aren't able to fulfill their will, even if they do have a will, because they still have a will.
Can you explain what you mean by inherent value in all consciousness?
All consciousness has moral value? I don't know what you mean. Like inherent means
moral value. Okay. And it has more value because how would you relate that back to what your principle that you think describes morality the best is? Like
that just describes the pattern and changes of morality. So morality itself is like a law of nature. So the value is in the law, is given by the law or something like that.
Wait, okay, so I'm still confused. So I'm gonna keep pressing with this one. Is it not I still don't know how you related it back to consciousness. Can you just explain it one more time for me?
Related what to consciousness?
Just your fundamental inherent value.
We feel moral intuitions towards things that are conscious and not towards rocks.
Okay. I see what you're saying now. So the what you're calling the value of morals applies to all conscious beings. And so then you give them rationality to be able to have their own wills, to be able to go through the process.
Well, they already have the wills, but we want them to give them the ability to achieve their will rationally. If they don't have the ability to achieve their
Okay.
will, or if they're
Oh.
like stupid, and that wasn't by choice, then that would be immoral for reality itself to make people stupid. And so we would cure them of that immorality, that there is a limitation on their will, that they're stupid and can't achieve their will. So we'd give them the intelligence to be able to rationally achieve their will.
And this is just going to be maybe a semantics point, but we don't give them it. Nature gives them it, because if we gave them it, then it's just the demon argument, right? Like, that's not your will, that's my will.
The intelligence, nature gives them the intelligence, which means nature is
Okay, yeah,
immoral,
nature does.
and then we give them the greater intelligence so that they can achieve their will. So intelligence is not the same as will. You can have a will and have no intelligence. And you can have you can probably have intelligence without a will, like a computer or something.
David, can I interject?
Go for it.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So, bear with me a second. I'm just saying, if we grant them that intelligence, that could be an imposition of their will, and it certainly could be as they are less intelligent. And also granting rationality to children, would we then take it back if they're like, fuck this, I don't want to be rational? Like,
Yes, like if they choose to say, okay, so they have the power to do whatever they want, design their own universe however they want, and they have the rationality to say, okay, I want to be a kid again and not have rationality. They can do that. They can limit their own intelligence.
And so we just committed an immoral act then?
No. If they choose to limit their own intelligence after we give them intelligence, that's fine.
Oh, okay. That's it. Oh, I'm not sure. I think I'm still hung up. But and then the interaction of universes, you'd have to voluntarily leave your universe to go interact with someone else in their universe in accordance to their wills.
Yep.
Yeah, Mikhail, if you're confused, I am too. I mean, it's just, obviously this is like completely abstract, like thinking that, you don't really have these thoughts every day, but.
No, and I think I really like your point, T-Jump. I think it's a fascinating objective moral, or I think it's fun, and I hope you find success in it. I'm just puzzling through it.
It's
Sure.
like playing The Sims online or something.
Yeah, kind of.
More like you get your own universe. It has nothing to do with The Sims. The Sims is not really very moral.
I know.
I'd be so lonely in my universe.
It's the best example I can think of.
So you can invite people to your universe and they can choose to join you, or you can go to other people's universes, or you can work together with other people to make a universe that you both agree upon.
Okay.
Like you could literally make everything in this universe, the world we live in exactly right now. The only difference would be is that you can't force people to be here without their consent.
I mean, this could be a thing. Oh, I'm sorry, Shadow. Go ahead.
No, I was interrupting. I apologize. Go ahead.
And so, I would think like this could be a viable future. And we got, what does Facebook call itself now?
Meta.
Yeah,
yes.
meta.
So it's this thing I'm describing is actually possible for humans to make. Yes. In multiple ways.
Yeah. But then there needs to be, I'm going back to, I know you already answered this, but I'm confused again. I'm going back to, what is the oversight on that? Who is the, in this case, it'd be Meta. Let's just say Meta. And obviously,
no one, there would be, the oversight would be the laws of physics. We just changed the laws of physics. There's no oversight.
Change the laws of physics.
Yes, we add an extra law of physics, like a computer system.
I gotta chew on it, I guess.
All right, kicking gears to now epistemology. I've heard Christians say that you need to ground morality. And then, you obviously come along and you ground morality in Descartes. I think therefore I am. Are they right to say
that's how I ground epistemology, not morality.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Sorry. Yeah, that's how you ground your epistemology. I kept saying morality. No, you need to ground knowledge is what the Christians say. Yeah, they don't say morality because, they might say that too. I don't know, but they say that you need to ground your knowledge in something, and you ground it in Descartes' sentence. Are they right to say that you even need to ground your knowledge?
Sort of. Like, it just means, like, you need a way to have knowledge. Like, yes, you need a way to have knowledge. You need a justification. That's what they're saying. You need a justification. And obviously, knowledge as a justified true belief does require a justification. So, sort of, yes, you do need to have a justification.
Okay. Yeah, look, I just came across this really big defense for virtue ethics, and it's not something that would ever change morality to believe in virtue ethics. But I'll give you the dilemma and see what you say about it, and maybe other people can give their take on it too. But it's just if you have two people going through a checkout line at the grocery store, and you probably maybe even heard this already, but if you have two people going through the line at the grocery store, and there's a box that just says "Save the Whales" on it, and it's about donating money to go to some like environmental whale foundation, whatever. And one person goes and he's going through the checkout line and he sees a box, and through his charitability and his want to make the world better, he puts money in the box for the sake of donating money to charity. And the other guy, he goes through the line and he sees the cashier with big tits and I Love Whales t-shirt, and he sees that and he's going for some like opportunistic, sex and pleasure reason that he donates money into the box. I almost see that as so compelling that it's just like that's sort of our moral intuition completely is able to say that one person is better than the other person, even though the effects and the consequences were the exact same.
No, so neither of them are more moral or less moral. They didn't do anything there to assist or help wills. So they're equally as moral. Their intentions make no difference.
So I'm assuming when you went and you found what morality meant to you, you used a lot of your own moral intuition, and you didn't use, like, you obviously probably later used other people's moral intuition and how they respond to different moral dilemmas, but initially, obviously, when you're contemplating these things, you can only use your own.
Well, actually, I used the moral progress. I looked at the moral intuitions of people over time.
And if this is a hypothetical that doesn't change over time and people just clearly just keep saying, yeah, this one guy is definitely more moral than the other guy, then there wouldn't really be moral progress there, would there?
If that was the only example of morality, sure.
Isn't it part of a culture thing or something?
What'd you say, Shadow?
Is morality part of a culture thing?
I'm gonna have to turn you up, bro. Hold on.
I think no. I think that a lot of morality is a result of culture, but I think that no, it's more than that. And I think that's provable because the morality can change across different cultures, all change in the same direction for some reason. And I think that morality across different species on different planets. No, I think that morality across different species on different planets will all change in the same direction. And morality of an artificial intelligence will change in the same direction. So I think that it's not biology, it's not evolution, it's not culture. I think all of those, it's objective to all of those things.
It's a pretty big claim because I do see it, Shadow, as it is kind of cultural, and obviously there's a lot of biological influence, but the morality would be social, and you could see, I guess, other societies having different morality as it is. But I guess, I don't know, maybe they would still accept the best of all possible worlds as like, okay, yeah, that would be the best option.
Let's try and understand each other here.
Well, it's more like, so imagine if we see a pattern in morality. So it changes over time in a very specific way. And the way it changes is the same in every culture. That means it's probably not cultural, because there's something independent of culture in which it's changing in the same pattern.
Has that happened?
Yes.
So, TJ, just like we can have scientific stagnation, because you relate this moral progress to, it's just like scientific progress, we're using our rationale and the scientific method to prolong and answer further scientific questions about the empirical world. Moral progress is doing the same. We're using our moral intuitions and our reasoning ability to solve moral dilemmas over periods of time. could we have just the same way we can have like a complete scientific stagnation if ever came about? Could we have like moral stagnation or moral degeneracy happen over a period of time too? Right?
Sure, it can happen, but that probably will not be the trend. So if everything started to change and there was no more moral progress, then that would be a refutation of my model. If there's some stagnation and the pattern still holds, then it wouldn't make a difference.
So if there's some stagnation and the pattern still holds, then it wouldn't make a difference. If there's any moral degeneracy, would that make a difference?
Nope.
too?
If the pattern, it's like any kind of statistical data. If the statistical data is continuing to go in one direction, the fact that there's a few outliers that go off does not make a difference. All that matters is the trend there. If the trend is there, then it's still evidence. If there's no trend, then it wouldn't be evidence.
You're speaking on moral progress right now, right, TjumpsChair?
Yep.
Yeah.
And what's your metric for that? I'm feeling like it's well-being and flourishing.
No, well-being is arbitrary. It's not a well-defined thing.
Yeah, his is any involuntary imposition of will. But so TjumpsChair, if we have if we do see just a slight bit of moral stagnation or moral degeneracy, would that then sort of prove that we're valuing other things at certain periods of time?
So again, with any statistical model, any statistical data, it doesn't all go in a perfectly straight line. There are many examples that go way up, way down, way right, way left. All that matters is the pattern there. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter if there's a few outliers here and there. If there's so many outliers that there's no pattern, then it wouldn't be evidence.
Okay. And if there was a better principle out there that was able to give the pattern that you're talking about and give the outliers, then you would just give up on yours and take up
no, that would be, no, that's so stupid. So the same thing applies. Like the data, there's nothing that can literally make an exact straight line like that. It's not how data works. So if there's a different model that can make more testable predictions in the future that are more right than mine, then that would be a better model.
Okay.
Like mine predicts when we discover other species, they'll have the same pattern, and mine predicts that we will eventually see rocks as falling on people as immoral. Those are the predictions that mine make primarily.
Can you say the first one more time?
If we discover other species, AIs, artificial intelligences, aliens, whatever, they'll have the same pattern in morality that we do.
Okay, yeah.
Be very interesting.
How do you know moral progress isn't just a random walk?
Because there's a pattern. Do we see the pattern?
Is there really? Is there really?
Yes. Like,
definitely a pattern.
Like women's rights, LGBTQ rights, veganism, abolishing slavery. All of the pattern seems to indicate that the scope of morality increases with the greater amount of resources and intelligence we have. It's a very consistent pattern.
Well, how did you decide that those things were advances in morality?
It doesn't matter. Like you can call it a regress. It does, or regress progress makes no difference. The line goes in the same direction. You put the dots together, the line is the same direction. It doesn't matter what you call the line. So the label of progress or regress is irrelevant. The pattern is the same.
No, I mean, how did you decide that so for instance, that gay rights are an advance in morality? It seems
Brenda, it doesn't matter whether you call it a regress or a progress. The pattern is the evidence. The fact that the pattern is there, it doesn't matter what you call it. You can label it blah, 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 blah. The pattern is still there. So the evidence of it being an objective thing is still there, regardless of whether you consider it objective or subjective. So the progress part is just a label I'm using. If you don't want to think of it as progress, you don't have to. It doesn't matter. The objective pattern is still there either way.
Well, I think it's progress. I'm just questioning.
Right, but the point here is that label is irrelevant to the evidence. So whether you call it progress or regress, the evidence is that there is a pattern there, and the pattern is there regardless of what you call it or whether you think it's progress or regress. So that part of.
But you think the pattern is good.
Yes, my moral intuitions label that as a progress, but what I label it doesn't matter at all to the evidence. It makes no difference. It makes zero difference whether you call it progress or regress. I label it progress because my intuitions fit with that. It's like when you label a new species a name, it's just because your intuitions do it. It's not like it objectively has that name.
I'm really skeptical that intuitions are a good guide to very much of anything.
Again, that isn't a guide to anything. The evidence has nothing to do with the naming. The naming of progress and regress is completely irrelevant. That's just where I like to name it. You can name it whatever you want. All the evidence is there is an objective pattern there. What you label it is irrelevant.
Can I ask about that, the time on that pattern as you see it?
The time?
Like, how long do you think it's been bending towards justice, perhaps, on your view?
Forever?
Well, would you say, like, in the, I don't know, 1400s, it was still starting to bend, or
Yes.
would you put later than that?
Always, since the beginning of time, since the beginning of recorded history and before.
Yeah.
But how are you measuring the arc, I guess I'm asking?
Looking at changes in societies and having the fact that people are more accepting of other groups than previously. So previously, like as far back in time as we can go, if you see another group, like another person walking in the forest, you kill them because they're a threat to your tribe. We don't do that anymore. So each successive generation would become more and more accepting. The more resources we have and the more intelligence we have, the more accepting of other people we are. The scope of morality increases. We can look at pygmy tribes today who have no interactions with other cultures or whatever, and they're still extremely violent. Like they shoot arrows at planes just if you see them for the same reason. So as society increases, as we gain more intelligence, more resources, the scope of morality also increases.
I guess I was just asking more like, what's the metric here? Like, are wars at all a data point in this? Is homicide level a data? Like, what's the data you use?
Sure, you can count those as data, and laws. Laws are a good one. What's acceptable in society, what the people fight for and advocate for, social acceptability. There's lots of different things you could use.
Do you I'm sure you've seen that it's like this cool animation of how much Europe, like the lines in Europe have changed over the last couple thousand years. It's like it goes kind of fast. Have you ever seen that video?
Probably. You mean the country lines?
Yeah, it's like kind of sped up. It goes through like a couple thousand years of European history, and you just kind of see how empires came and fell really, somewhat quickly on
Sure.
a long. Yeah. Do you consider that to somehow still be under the purview of things just getting better
Yes.
morally, like all the war and all
Yes.
that? Gotcha.
Clearly, like the amount of wars go down, not up. Amount of violence goes down and not up.
I don't know if anybody's seen the movie.
Yeah, when I was a kid, it was perfectly normal for the principal to strap your hands with a leather strap or a ruler, and they could do it right across your backside just as hard as they wanted, as long as they didn't break it.
Yeah, but those kinds of
This is more in like of a Western first worldist position.
No, that's pretty standard across the world. Like that's not just a
Like
Western
in
society.
Sub-Saharan Africa, that's how it's going.
Yeah, they beat kids all over the world. They've always beat kids all over the world. That's been a pretty consistent thing all over the world for most of the time.
But nowadays, it's definitely not kosher.
In
I just
Western
meant the moral
society.
progress that you were talking about. Do you think it extends like outside of the first world?
So moral progress is based on the amount of resources. So the more resources, the more progress you have. So if you have less resources, you see less progress. That's why the pygmy tribes who have no excess resources have not progressed.
But you would concede that I liked your concession that one could see it as a regress just as justifiably.
You can label it however you want to label it. That doesn't matter. I don't care how you label it.
Can I ask a couple questions about that philosophy paper survey, T-Jump?
The Phil Papers one? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. My takeaway from it, I think, was a little like I was more surprised than anything. So what I want to know is if you follow me on this. If they're divided on even like just justified true belief, 233230. Do you think that everything else is downstream of what we consider knowledge to even be, like before we can start making knowledge claims?
I don't know what you mean.
So do you think that knowledge, having a definition of knowledge, is prior to making knowledge claims?
Sort of.
Okay, and I'm just saying, if in the Phil papers they can't agree on what the definition of knowledge is, and then they proceed to make a bunch of knowledge claims, do you think there's anything weird about that?
No.
Okay.
Like it's pretty easy actually. Like you can say there is such a thing as knowledge. We do our best to come up with different definitions to encapsulate what that is. They all kind of center around the same basic tenets, which is correspondence to reality, more or less. And whether or not we get the actual definition, or they all agree on the exact definition, they all agree that that's what the goal of knowledge is. And so it doesn't really make a difference if they all agree on the exact definition. What matters is there an objective truth to the fact of what you claimed knowledge is knowledge, and whether or not we actually get the definition right makes no difference.
Okay, but the question on epistemic justification, right? How they would justify their definition, they're divided on that too, 30, 50, 24.
It doesn't matter. So the way they think they justify their definition of knowledge makes no difference. What matters is there an objective fact of the matter? Is knowledge a thing in reality, independent of our definitions? The answer is yes. There is some fact of the matter of, does my idea in my head correspond to reality or not? That is an objective fact, regardless of how we define it, regardless of how we define justification. There is a fact of the matter, and whether or not we get our definitions to match that fact of the matter makes no difference. It's still the case that it either is or isn't the case.
But isn't that a knowledge claim?
What? Yes. Knowledge is an objective fact that makes no difference to our definitions. Our definitions make no difference to the fact of the matter of knowledge. So the fact of the matter of knowledge is what starts, and our definitions don't make a difference.
And you would just kind of like justify that statement at the cookie show, probably?
What? I guess you could do that. I wasn't going to, but sure.
But like just to say like flatly that knowledge is X.
Well, no.
And then I'm saying,
knowledge is something in reality.
You're
Yes.
saying it's a fact. Yeah, I get that. But that claim is a knowledge claim. That would depend on your definition.
No,
of knowledge.
it would not depend on. It would not depend on my definition of knowledge. My definition of knowledge makes no difference. When we're talking about knowledge, we're talking about some idea in our head corresponding to reality. Whatever way you want to define knowledge, it makes no difference to that. Does that topic of conversation, the thing we're talking about, ideas corresponding to reality, is that a fact independent of how we defined it? Yes. So does it matter if we get that's because it's what we mean by the words. Like what do we mean by the word knowledge? If you mean knowledge is a potato, then you're an idiot and stop asking stupid questions.
Well, I'm just saying that we don't have a clear consensus.
Doesn't make a difference. We do have a clear consensus that knowledge is some correspondence between ideas and reality. That is a clear consensus. Yes, we have a clear consensus on that. How it does that, we don't have a consensus on.
Right, but what is your percentage threshold for consensus?
80%, 70% doesn't make a difference. A lot.
Well, wouldn't the exact threshold make a lot of difference?
No.
So if I say it's 10, do you have a problem with that?
Then you're an idiot.
Okay, but that's what I mean. Like,
I don't care. I don't care. This is a waste of time, stupid question. You're an idiot for asking such a stupid question. I gave you like a 70, 80. Like, so this makes no difference to any position, does not help any arguments.
Okay, I hear you. So what about logic? They say classic or plural, kind of a pluralist conception.
Exact same thing. There is a fact of the matter in reality. Our acceptance of it makes no difference.
Right, but if we don't know if it's split three ways, that
makes no difference to any argument. So it makes no difference to any argument.
Well, wouldn't the definition of logic itself matter a lot to arguments?
No.
Okay. Alrighty.
Yeah, just waste of time on all stupid questions. Like you'd have to actually, this is relevant to something. None of what you said was relevant to anything.
I think it says a lot, but I hear you.
Then you're dumb. Like literally, you're just bringing up pedantic semantics that just doesn't address any actual point. That's all you're doing.
It's a difference between the sense and the referent. That's what I'm asking about.
Yeah, you're making a semantic argument, which makes absolutely no difference to anything. That's the point. You're just wasting time with semantics. Like, bring up an actual
I'm
argument.
trying to not confuse semantics for
You're
the referent.
wasting time on semantics. Yes. You're not actually addressing any point. You're not making any progress. You're just wasting time on semantics.
I'm talking about points themselves and how we define them.
Semantics, which, again, you're still not bringing up any relevant point to any relevant topic we've ever talked about. You're just complaining about semantics, which is a waste of time.
Thank you for your time.
Yep.
So, morality. Let's talk about the definition of morality. Is it like not living your own life without imposing your impeding against other people's free will? Is that what it is?
Any involuntary imposition of will is immoral.
Okay. Sorry, I'm bad with the words, but yeah. And objective, and you say morality is objective.
Yes, objective.
Okay, not which. Looking at the Google definition here. It's just we're gonna be on the same page.
Exists independent of opinion.
A lot of philosophers believe in moral realism, right?
Yep. Same thing.
Please don't have to.
Meaning that it's independent of our personal opinions.
Yep.
Not that there's some sort of stuff.
Yeah, there's just different ways to say it. Just exists or is a true independent of opinions. The moral statements have a truth value.
Yeah, they have a truth value. Though there are a lot of philosophers who think that they're non-cognitivists in this.
We're the opposite, who think there doesn't have a truth value. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, just finishing up here. Objective. Actually, teacher, you're going to define it before the interruption.
We just did. Objective simply means that it's independent of your opinion, right?
Yep.
So.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah. That's
Not
just
influenced
what I
by
mean.
personal feelings or opinions, considering
Yeah.
and representing facts. Okay, there you go.
So for instance, let me see say for instance the value of a dollar bill in your pocket is objective because its value isn't something that you decide. Even though I wouldn't say it is some feature of the universe, it's simply a result of our economy, which could be different, but nevertheless, our social constructions are the economy.
Moral realism is usually contrary to social constructionism. Social constructionism is usually not a moral realist position.
Okay, well, there could be institutional facts and things like that in like the facts of my society, my culture.
I don't think those would be considered true independent of opinion. So those would not count as moral realism, I don't think. I think those would be called moral subjectivism.
I'm not sure. Wouldn't intersubjective beliefs be, in a sense, objective?
I don't think so, not in the sense that moral realists mean. Because moral realists mean that the truth value is independent of any society, essentially. Because if it's contingent on society, then it's moral subjectivism. It would be not realism. Because it wouldn't be true, it would just be accepted as true. Because they want to say true as in truth is that which corresponds to reality in some sense. It's not an opinion, it's true.
Well, the truth would be culturally determined, right?
No,
So
that would literally
culture,
that would be the subjectivist. That would be the not realist position.
that would be cultural relativism, right?
Yeah, that would be not realism.
That would be not realism.
So realists want to take the position that drowning babies is always wrong no matter who and what society agrees on it. Doesn't matter if society, it's going to be wrong regardless.
Well, I think a relativist could say that too. And because it's a very leading question. It's not quite the same, but it's a lot like "Have you beaten your wife lately?" that kind of thing.
Sort of.
Drowning babies purely for fun. I mean, if it was just is drowning babies moral or not, I think I could see a situation where drowning a baby would be moral if it was like the trolley problem. If by drowning this baby I saved 7 billion people, for instance.
Right. The question is normally phrased like, if you are a moral relativist and you think society is what determines morality, if a society decided that drowning babies for fun was moral, would it then be moral? So the question is the contingent factors in what makes something true about morality. Is it the society's opinion, in which case it's not realism, or is it something outside of the societies, in which case it would be realism? So the point of the question is not the hyperbolic language of the "did you beat your wife today," but more to illustrate the fact that if we accept this position, the consequence is that it's arbitrary, kind of like the Euthyphro dilemma. Is something good because God said it's good? It's the exact same problem, essentially.
Anybody in the stage want to speak to TjumpsChair? Raise your hand. Send you an invite.
Can you give some examples on what you just consider subjective?
Things contingent.
Brain contingent. Okay.
Things contingent on opinion. What? Like, I like chocolate ice cream. That's subjective. I don't know. I don't know what exactly you're asking.
Is that all that subjectivity is? Just anything contingent on opinion?
Pretty much.
Is it okay? So, is it just my opinion that I see this piece of paper as being white?
Sort of. It's your subjective experience, yes.
Okay, so yeah, I guess that would go for any experience that I individually have. That would be something that would be contingent on my opinion.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, like, it's about the same thing. But subjective experience is different from subjective in the definition in terms of objective.
Subjective means based on or influenced by personal feelings, tastes, or opinions. Objective means not influenced by personal feelings or opinions in considering and representing facts.
Yep. He's bringing up a different definition of subjective, which is subjective experience, which has absolutely nothing to do with the topic. It's, again, just a semantic thing that has kind of irrelevant.
Teacher, what's your opinion on like Matt Dillahunty's I kind of feel like there's a kind of hide the ball going with how some objective people with an objective morality use that word objective. You know, a lot of theists think it's this universal thing versus, you know, versus like humanity as a collective observing it as a fact, I guess. Or just,
I have no idea how Matt uses the term objective.
Do they teach them when you use like the terms you use in like on the Google definition or is that what you stick to?
Any philosophical definitions, you're gonna get the exact same thing. There are different definitions of subjective. Most of them entail contingent on opinion, and things true independent of opinion. That's usually what they mean by realism versus subjectivism. Subjective experience is a different usage of subjective entirely.
What's the distinction? What would you say?
Subjective experience is about epistemic means, like how you know something. Objective empiricism means it can be known by multiple people through verifiable means or whatever, like empiricism. In terms of consciousness, subjective experience is just the fact that only you have access to it. It's epistemic subjectivism.
Oh, okay. So that makes a lot more sense. Epistemic subject. Okay. All right.
I encourage you guys that if you're stupid like me, look up the definitions. It helps a lot.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
I wanted to clarify as well. I am an atheist, and I do believe in objective morality. Just misspoke there too. So I feel like this is going on YouTube later.
No, you don't. You are a polytheist and you believe in Thor.
Yeah, well, when I said the second law of thermodynamics is the conservation of energy, that's going to stay on YouTube as well. So, but that's fine. Nobody cares. Nobody really cares. Anyways, come on.
Who's your next debate with?
I think I have an interview on Monday, and then I have one on next Friday, I think. I don't remember his name.
An interview for what?
Just another YouTuber who asked me to do an interview. I get those a lot. Oh, I got.
Is it just the good old God debate that's coming up?
Probably. Ow.
Okay.
I don't actually remember. I just write them down and then leave them until the day of and then check.
Yeah. I don't know if have any of you seen the Flat Earth debates with TJump? They're pretty fun.
I've seen them, yeah.
I mean, you've been there. But they're okay. The rest of you guys. Boys in the chat or whatever.
Hey, Tom, do you ever get asked to do like debates on like social issues?
Yes. James does ask those occasionally. I did some on All Lives Matter versus Black Lives Matter, trans women, saying trans women are not women is always women, a plausible argument for race realism, socialism versus capitalism.
Socialism is capitalism.
Is race real? He did that one with Bosch.
Yep. That one, there is definitely a justifiable reason to say that race could be real. Just say it's echo clients. I think that's also on the Phil Paper survey where 20% of philosophers say that race is biologically real.
Yeah.
That I was surprised by. I did not expect many people to hold that position. I was just trying to like steel man it, be like, what is the best argument you can make for it? I was like, oh shit, there's actually a large chunk of philosophers who think it's the case. Wow.
Do they distinguish a difference between race and ethnicity?
I have no idea. Yeah, it'd be a question for them.
In the question on the Phil's paper, you mean? No, they don't.
No.
I mean, I don't think they do.
That's interesting.
I'm not sure if it matters either, because people could just have different definitions of what race is and still think it's real.
In your opinion, T-Jump, are definitions objective?
No.
Is there an objective definition? No.
No.
Okay.
Oh, somebody wants to chat. All right, team, get your ass up there and chat to TJump. You're invited. Click on it. Click on the green icon thingy, and okay, if you can't figure it out, that's on you.
Yeah, no, the question is just phrased race, biological, social, or real. Or unreal, I mean.
There you go.
Sorry, go ahead.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
No.
All right. I assume that under your model of morality, you think that a universe itself compelling a certain preference is also immoral, right?
Yes. Cancer.
So, for example, if you were transported into a universe in which it compels a preference for one thing only, so let's say you enter the donut universe and you only have a preference for donuts, you think that's immoral, right?
If you were forced to enter it without your consent, if you consented to enter it knowing that was going to happen, then no.
Right. But isn't it also the case for the universe in which we are currently residing, right? You have a preference.
Yeah, but that's not a problem because I
things.
just accept compatibilism in that case, so it doesn't matter.
Right, but you give primacy to the universe in which we're currently residing, right?
Pragmatically.
So, for example, if you were entering
I say
universe,
no. I say our universe is immoral, so that's like I'm not giving primacy to it. Our universe is immoral.
Okay. Yes. So if let's say let's take the donut universe as an example, right? So right now you probably don't have a preference for living in a universe in which you only have a preference for donuts, right? I assume.
Sure.
Sure. And let's say you get transported in a universe. So according to your model, that's an immoral action, right? Because you weren't asked.
Yeah,
It just
I
happened to you.
didn't consent to it.
Right. And once you're in that universe, you have a preference for donuts, right? So if I were to remove you from that universe, is that immoral? Even though you have a preference for donuts, because the universe gives you preference for donuts.
It depends. So, like, if I was going to create my own universe, would I create the rule that I would not be compelled to like donuts? I'd probably be okay with that. So it wouldn't be immoral if I was compelled to like donuts. I'd be like, all right, whatever. Would I put a rule that I wouldn't be uncompelled to like donuts? Probably not. So neither of those would be moral or immoral, because I wouldn't make a rule against them in either of my cases. So it would only be immoral if somebody made the rule, I never ever want to be compelled to like or dislike anything against my will. In which case, then it would be immoral to force them to like donuts. And it would also be immoral to force them to stop liking donuts. Unless,
Okay,
actually, in that case, it would be
if I
moral.
were to
So in that
remove
case,
you-
so if someone wanted to not ever be compelled and they were forced to be compelled against their will and you stopped that force, that would actually be moral.
Okay, all right. And I have a different question. So let's say you have, so under your model, the perfect universe or the perfectly moral universe would be a universe in which you can basically create whatever you want, right? In which everything is compatible with your will, right?
Other than
Or is
consciousness,
it-
yeah.
Okay, so let's say you have universe A in which everything is compatible, or rather, everything follows your will, right? And everything is a result of what you want. And then you have a universe B in which everything is compatible with your will, but isn't a result of your will, right? So let's say you have universe A
Would
in
make
which
a
everything
difference. So like you could say, if you literally created the universe, or if God created the universe to your specifications, would make no difference.
right, but the point is your choice wouldn't make a difference in universe B, right? So if let's say like in universe B, I insert a mind virus. So for example, let's say I have perfect knowledge, or rather I don't have perfect knowledge. Let's say it's a coincidence, right? You enter a universe in which everything is the way you would have wanted it if you had the choice, right?
Okay.
Is that an immoral universe because your choice makes no difference, even though it's exactly the way you want it to?
I don't understand
is
the
there a
question. Like,
difference?
if I want to go to a universe where I get chocolate ice cream every day and I get poofed into that universe, that would be a moral thing. Someone would be assisting me in my will.
Yeah, but okay. So my question is basically, what if the universe you get poofed into is not a result of your choice, right? It has nothing to do with your choice. It just happens to be the way you would have wanted
Still
it.
be moral.
Right?
So
It's
like,
just coincidence.
doesn't make a difference. Still be moral. So morality is voluntary assistance of will. It doesn't matter if it was nature that did it or that a being that did it. It would still be moral. That universe would be a more moral world than a world that imposed on your will.
Yeah, but you personally, you wouldn't distinguish it from a world in which everything just happens according to your choice, right? It would just be the same thing to you, right?
I don't understand the question.
So, okay, let's say you go into a universe in which I give you like a perfect toolkit in which you can create whatever you want.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
It's your world. You want ice cream, you create ice cream out of nothing,
Yep.
right? And then you have universe B, in which that isn't the case, right? Your choice makes no difference. It just happens to be the case that the world around you poofs ice cream into existence, and it happens to coincide with what you want.
Yeah, it would make no difference.
Right?
Make zero difference.
Okay, so those, you would say universe A, universe B, that's the same thing to you,
Yep.
right? It's
Yep.
okay.
Unless you like specifically said, I will that my will has an impact or something, then it would make a difference. But I don't think anybody's going to care.
Okay, that's interesting. And I have a different question. Do you think under materialism or under materialist framework, it makes sense to think, or it makes sense to think that it's possible that reincarnation can happen, right?
Sure.
I'm not talking about like memory reincarnation, but
Yes.
just kind of consciousness reemerging.
Yes, there could be other physical things we haven't discovered yet, which can be reincarnated. Like we could have a physical soul that we just don't know about yet. Sure.
But you don't think that there is good justification for it with the knowledge we have right now?
Yeah,
or
there's
with the
no
things
evidence.
we know right now?
There's no evidence to indicate that. It's possible, but it's no reason to think so.
Well, because I think so. For example, you and I, we both. I assume you and I both say we know that we exist right now, right?
Sure.
And would you say you know that you at some point began to exist, right? So your consciousness emerged at some point.
Not with this. I'd inductively conclude that, but I wouldn't say I know it with the same level that I know I exist right now.
Right. So you say it could be possible that I was always conscious, but I
Sure.
just don't remember it.
Sure.
Right. But let's say we assume that you at some point began to be conscious.
Okay.
Right. Let's just assume that for the sake of the argument.
Okay.
Wouldn't that simultaneously then allow us to believe in some kind of reincarnation, so reemergence of consciousness? Because if we know that it's possible to begin to be conscious, and at some point let's say we die and our consciousness ceases to exist, then it's possible that it reemerges at some point again, right?
Sure.
I mean, because
like-
we already established that it's possible that our consciousness emerges, right?
I already granted it's possible to have reincarnation, but that doesn't give us an epistemic reason to think there is such a thing. The fact that it's possible isn't evidence it is the case.
Well, let's say we take a materialistic framework, right? So it isn't just like a logical argument or anything. Like, do you think that the moment before your birth under a materialistic framework is the same thing to you, to your being, as after you die?
From your consciousness perspective, yeah.
Yeah, well, because I assume you think that consciousness is like an emergent property of our brains,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so physically speaking, the only difference between you before birth and you after death is time, right? There's a temporal difference, but it's...
Well, no, the pattern in the
materially-
brain is also different.
Uh,
So like there's a pattern in the brain before you're born, like in the womb. It's just not a conscious pattern, and there's
well,
no
okay,
pattern.
maybe birth is the wrong. Like I think birth wasn't what I was getting at.
Okay.
I was like the first moment where your consciousness emerges
Okay.
as a feature of whatever it is that gives you consciousness.
Yeah,
of
so
your
so
brain,
before
right?
you get consciousness and after you get consciousness, you equally have zero consciousness.
Right. And materially, there is no difference. Or would you say there's a difference? Because non-existence isn't materially bound, I assume, right? Or it wouldn't make sense to say that
From
non-existence
what
is
from
materially
what we
bound.
know about, there's no difference. There could be more stuff there that we don't know about. From what we know about, like there would be no difference. Like from before I was conceived and had no brain, and after I die and my brain decays and I have no brain, I'm going to have equally no brain in both cases.
Right. But you also, I assume you probably also don't believe that just because we replicate the physical stuff, right, the brain, your consciousness would just re-emerge, right? Because it's not just the material stuff, right? Like, for example, if I create a perfect clone of you, you probably don't, or I don't assume that I'm suddenly conscious.
Right. Yeah. My
in a
consciousness.
different-
My consciousness is this particular set of chemical interactions going on in this particular brain. Like if you copied it exactly particle for particle in the exact same location, so it shared exact same properties, it would be my consciousness. But if it's in a different time, then it would be a different location, then it would be a different consciousness, most likely.
All right. So. Yeah. Okay. So I think that's everything. Thank you
Alright.
for your time.
Yep.
You should debate more vegans. The two debates that I've seen where you were debating vegans were really good.
Well,
I guess you didn't debate the second one. The second one was just like a conversation. but-
mostly I just agree with them. I say, yes, it is immoral to kill animals. They are conscious agents. I just don't care because I like cheeseburgers. So I am immoral. I just grant that I am immoral, and you're right that it is moral to not kill them, and I like cheeseburgers.
And I like my double bacon moose burgers with cheese.
I guess I mean.
Where
I guess
do
I
you
mean to say
live?
that the
God, where do you live? I want to get a moose burger from you.
Canada, come join me. I got lots of weed, moose burger, and beef, and so on here.
So get Canadian Catholics to set up a live debate between me and like Richard Swinburne or somebody in Canada, and we can come meet up. We can do moose burgers.
Just meet up here.
Yeah, get Canadian Catholic to sponsor like a debate. He'll pay for the trip and shit. Then I can come down and we can do a meet up for dinner during the debate,
Why Canadian Catholic?
because he lives there and he can set up a debate.
Oh,
He's said
He's a
that
cool guy.
he said that before he's willing to set up debates, and so if he's willing to set up a debate in Toronto or wherever he is, that would work.
In New Brunswick.
I'm going to pretend like I know the geology of Canada.
Right next to Maine. Close to Maine.
Maine
probably
is
40 minutes of a place called Bridgewater, Maine.
Is
047.
Is that the American Maine, the Maine in America, Maine?
Bridgewater, Maine, over in the States.
Yeah.
04735. I'm probably 40 minutes from that location.
I don't know anybody in Maine to set up debates though.
No, I just saying that will give you an idea where I live.
Gotcha.
Yeah. E7L2W5 is the zip to find me. You figure where I am, so you'll know how far to drive.
Drive? No, I fly. Driving is too much work.
I have to say, I think the entire movement of veganism is entirely misplaced. I mean, like, I'm investing in lab-grown meat. I mean, just imagine if we took all of our resources. I mean, like, how quickly we came with the COVID vaccine. Like, if we had that same passion in developing lab-grown meat, we could have it by the end of the decade. I mean,
it's no problem to grow lab-grown. That they can grow that now.
Yeah. I mean, but like
the catch is the cost per kilogram is about $40, $50.
Yeah, but
you're required to do it.
Every vegan bitching on the internet, though. I mean, if they were instead twisting the arm of like Tyson Meats, and I would do it too.
How do you imagine they would do that? How do you imagine that if every single vegan in the planet came together and told Tyson Meat to do something, do you think Tyson Meat would actually listen?
No.
Well, I mean, with cancel culture these days, I don't see why not.
It'd only be about 0.2% of their audience at most.
Yep. So as long as they're making a profit, it makes no difference. They do not care.
Well, I mean, like let's look at the trans community. That's point. I mean, look at how big that movement is, and they're a minority of a minority.
And what exactly do you think they've accomplished?
They've. That's fair, but
they got Dave Chappelle more popular than that.
That's true.
Perhaps.
This is true.
Yeah. But I mean, I think there's like an actual ethical obligation behind it, and I'd certainly be for that. Though I just see vegans as annoying right now. I would if the steak I buy at Cub Foods is indistinguishable from a lab-grown steak, like I'd happily get the lab-grown steak, and then everyone wins in this scenario.
Well, actually, when we get lab-grown steaks, we're going to be able to modify them to make them more tasty, so they're going to be better.
Yeah.
They're going to all be Wagyu meat levels of.
Oh God.
But it's going to cost about probably $50 a kilogram.
No, it'll be
for the energy cost to grow it.
No, like it will be. It costs. If we fund it to the same level we fund meats, like if we give it the same government level of funding, it'll go down to essentially the same price. Like it'll still be just as cheap once we get the technology to mass produce it.
I'm in Canada. Our meat ain't government funded. It would be $50 to $60 a kilogram.
Nope, it would go down. Like the price is relative to the amount of, what is it? Production versus desire, something.
Yeah, and also too, it would be grown pretty much completely off fossil fuel.
Well, to go back
because it's an electric system.
Like lab-grown meat would work just fine. We could completely convert everything to lab-grown meat eventually, and it would cost less. That wouldn't be really a big problem, and the amount of greenhouse gases would be less than those emitted by cows.
Well, yeah, there used to be a lot more CO2 from the.
No, there would not. There would not. There would not. There would be the same amount. It would not.
We'd have to actually.
No, it would not. No, it would not. It would actually decrease the CO2 emitted because it costs a lot to raise cows. There's a lot of electricity and stuff that goes into raising cows too.
I can buy a pound of beef for $6, not 50.
That's because there's lots and lots of beef and not lots and lots of electrically produced beef. Well, if there was lots of electrically produced beef, the price would go down. Anyway.
Well, hear me out though. I mean, like, I own Tyson stock, and I haven't done any of their voting process. But if enough vegans own enough stock, and then they vote within those whatever the fuck they're called, then I guess movement change could happen.
Yes, that's actually a really intelligent strategy to have like a base buy enough of the stock in the company to actually influence the company. That is a great idea. People are kind of poor and can't really do that, though. Like, billionaires can do that.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah,
gonna
well,
have to
I mean,
get from about 0.5% of their stock to 51% of their stock to have a chance.
Well, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
You wouldn't.
So
Even,
you're gonna
you
have to
need.
get
You'd only
about
need like 30 to
$120.
40. You'd only need more stock than everybody else, and you'd be fine. But
yeah.
Even that.
the problem is that you'd have to get enough vegans to lump enough money together to buy a single stock. It's very, very hard to get a group of people to work together in that way, especially for a single company. And then most likely what would happen is the single company would just go bankrupt, more likely, because they're going into a new technology is very expensive, and so someone else will just replace them. So that's not a great strategy, but it is a cool idea.
Yeah, I'm just doing what I could. Giving you ideas for debates, I guess.
Just real quick, you're all talking about this technology and the advance and the artificial and we'll
Yeah, I've done
get
the.
there. But don't. Okay, let me finish.
Sorry.
Crying out loud, it's fucking annoying. Anyway, that's presuming that society is not stupid anymore, which is not the case because society is becoming more stupider in the process.
Wait, what do you mean? I don't know. I'm not following the question. So we're talking about technology. So like you're saying, if society becomes stupider and technology stops increasing, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I don't think that's going to
presuming-
happen.
You don't think that's going to happen?
No, because we don't need everybody in society to be smart. We just need some people in society to be smart. So if like one person is smart enough to make a discovery, everybody benefits. So it's not like everyone in society is getting dumber, even though lots of people are very dumb. The fact that we have some people in technology is enough to make technological advances. Like we're already making advances towards artificial meats. Like that's a real thing people have been working on for several decades. Like we're definitely making progress in that field.
Okay. Disagree with that. I'm very skeptical of that because when I see this world, I don't see people promoting science. I see the latter. So it's kind of strange.
Well, it's like Americans are getting fatter, right? Fatter and unhealthier. Like you would agree?
Yeah, and they're becoming more flat earthers. Did you notice
Right.
that too?
Yes. Yeah. So does that mean that the skill of basketball is decreasing? The skill of football are the basketball players and the football players getting worse because Americans are getting fatter? Like,
no, but that's a specific field, though.
Right. So science is a specific field like basketball. Very, very good, intelligent people work in the field. And as long as the very good, intelligent people work in the field, they will be able to progress the field forward, even if a lot of people in America are dumb and fat.
Okay, well, this is just based on what I see. It's not necessarily something I can back up, generally because I'm not that knowledgeable on that high-tech thing, but I'm gonna hold on to that.
Oh, wait.
No, it's fine.
More stupider. That's correct. Lucky 7 more. I agree. I agree that, I mean, definitely. I mean, I think that in general, people are getting more intelligent as time goes on. I don't think they're getting stupider, but I do understand the point that there are lots of stupid people and progress is slow.
Let me throw something out there.
T-Jump, 250 kilowatt hours per kilogram.
Currently.
On top of whatever it costs to operate the place, not counting electricity, obviously, with that.
Currently.
And the employees' cost, shipping, packaging,
still currently
markup at the store, and so on.
Still currently. That's just currently. So it would be cheaper. It'd be easier to produce as we get better at it. So it's like saying the first Model T car was very inefficient. Like, yes, obviously when we make a new technology, the first technology is always extremely inefficient. If we invest more in it, it becomes more efficient and takes less like electricity.
Just let me throw something out there. Just real quick. I've seen videos 1940s science. I feel like the 40s were like the most, or not the 40s. I'm sorry, the early 1900s, around that through the 60s, and that's when there was a lot of science progression around that time. That allowed it to produce the technology that we have. I don't feel like that's the case anymore, but I could be wrong.
definitely the case. So like it's not Murphy's law. There's a law that specifically states the progress in computer science grows exponentially, something every 12
Moore's
years
law.
or something. Moore's law. That's it. So there's definitely technological
Was I correct
progress.
in saying that?
No. So
No?
technology today is increasing faster than it did then. Then it was slower than it is today. Technology is going significantly faster. You can just Google like the Nobel Prizes in biology, Nobel Prizes in physics, Nobel Prizes in whatever. Those are all massive progresses that have been made. And different technology, especially AI. Once we get AI, things are just going to explode. So yes, technology is increasing exponentially every year.
Can we be specific? When you say technology, are you talking about specifically AI, video, like optic type, like visualization?
I mean,
video games?
new
Because, yes, that has been increasing.
new discoveries in every technological field that make it better and able to do more things than we've ever been able to do before in human history.
Discoveries in terms of like computers.
Yep.
Because okay, because that
Go
that part I
to
agree with.
2-minute papers. Just go to 2-minute papers. Watch every one of their videos, and you can see this paper. This is the new paper that was just published 2 weeks. This is the paper that was published 2 weeks ago. Here's the paper that was published today. Look at all the progress we've made. There's tons and tons of progress technologically being made in every single field. It hasn't stopped. You're just not aware of it because you're not like up to date in the fields. Like there's lots of stupid people out there, but there's tons of progress being made.
Probably not, but like, what about the new discoveries of science? Like, is there progress in that too?
Yes, tons. Look at every Nobel Prize. You can just go on YouTube, or not YouTube. One of the academic papers, they just list the greatest scientific discoveries of the year, and they post just 10 awesome discoveries that have been made in science that keep being made. There's just new ones all the time. Like there's tons of scientific discoveries being made. One of the most interesting ones I've heard about in the past 3 years was they genetically modified a mosquito that was unable to transmit malaria. So if they release, and another genetic modification they made to this mosquito was that all of its children will always have this property. So instead of it being like a 50-50 trait that only happens to some of the children, it will happen to every single one of the children. So if they release this mosquito into the wild, it will replace all mosquitoes in Africa, and it'll just cure malaria in Africa. It'll be gone. So CRISPR, the ability to deliberately modify genes whenever you want, is a huge technological progress, a huge progress in technology. And that's how we got the vaccine, the COVID vaccine, so fast, because of this new technology to modify genes, RNA stuff.
That, and of course, they fired as much money at it as they wanted to fire at it because it was top priority. They could throw the entire lab at it instead of just a section. That helped speed it up too.
Yes, money helps technology. That's why.
Yeah, they literally just.
That's why NASA is
almost
a thing.
like war. Yeah, just like war. They just threw her wide open and said, "What limit on the paycheck? Just do it." Basically.
Okay. I'm still very skeptical on it, but I'll look up the 2-minute paper. So if you guys have any citations, please source it. So.
Yeah, 2-minute papers YouTube channel. They do tons of this stuff, and they just Google the biggest scientific advances of this year. Nobel Prize winners of every year. Just Google Nobel Prize winners of every year and just go down the list of all their discoveries. There's tons of them.
All right. That's a good, yeah. And then I'll look into discoveries and try and research as best I can about that.
Yeah, I do top 10 discoveries of biology, top 10 discoveries of physics, top 10 discoveries of X just in the past year or in the past decade. There's tons of them.
It is a bit hard to research though, but yeah. Okay. Thank you though.
Yep.
That's it, guys. Just wanted to get that across. Anybody else wants to talk? It's getting late for you, isn't it?
Well, I'm on a weird sleep schedule right now, so I woke up at like 3 p.m.
2:11 a.m. here.
It's 12:10 a.m. here.
Do you sleep on your couch? I mean, on your chair?
Not usually. I did when I had really bad sciatica. I did because it helped a lot. And I did when I was super depressed or super sick, but not usually.
But you said you just healed your depression.
Yes.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I've still yet to heal my panic attacks, but but that's a work in progress. So. Hope you all work your issues too. Everybody's listening to this.
To say it hasn't happened before would be a lie. I've literally have woke up before in the morning and found I was still sitting on Discord.
Oh yeah.
Well, we've seen you fall asleep on Discord. Like we know this occurs.
Oh, you can't. You wouldn't directly see me with the camera fall asleep.
All right, you just like hear your snoring.
I usually know enough to mute myself.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
That's
Like
the other guy.
I think we've just seen like you in a server alone until like 7 a.m. or something after everybody's left.
Yeah. Yeah, I fell asleep a few times. It happens.
Yeah, hopefully T-Jump falls asleep and everybody.
T-Jump's done it too. Yes, I've seen him
I don't
Life?
think so.
slip into the voice channel listening and like.
Oh, I think that's me just pretending to snore just because it's boring what you're talking about.
Well, when you're sitting there alone for 25 minutes and I just jump in and just listen and you're sleeping.
Well, no, I don't do that because I only fall asleep usually. You can't do it while listening to Discord. I need to listen to ASMR, so I can't do it from listening to Discord. Usually I just hang out in the Discord and listen to what you guys are talking about when I'm bored or something.
We all do that. It's called a radio.
Yep.
T-Jump, is there any social issues that you'd want to debate in the future? Like,
Sure.
Okay.
'Cause,
Like,
go
ahead.
Well, I'm big into politics, so I like universal basic income. I'm absolutely for that. I'm definitely for single payer healthcare and getting healthcare out of the paychecks because then we could increase everyone's pay by 15% tomorrow, essentially, or poor people's pay. It wouldn't affect rich people's pay, but poor people's pay could go up by 15% tomorrow if we just got single payer healthcare because it comes out of their paycheck. I would definitely. What?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
You've done the. There was a video that they've done on the mandate thing with 4 people or something.
What mandate?
God damn it, the vaccine mandate.
The vaccine mandate. Yeah, I'm not for mandating the vaccine. If people want to take it, they can. If they don't, I don't really care.
It's awesome.
I
Because
think-
you don't want to. Because you don't want to impose. I figured that much because you said you don't want to impose
On
morality.
will.
Yes, you don't want to
Yeah.
impose
Yeah.
free will on others. Yeah, makes sense.
But if a business wishes to disbar someone coming in unvaxxed, that's
Their
private
prerogative. It's their private property.
Yeah.
But you're not
Yes.
allowed to ban people on YouTube for not getting vaccinated. That would be stupid.
Oh, bummer.
I'll come to that at some point. You never know.
Yep. YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Patreon.
Fuck you too.
Hmm.
Sorry, I don't want to get your channel banned. I'm sorry.
And of course, hiding a downvotes thing there, so you can't see how many downvotes.
I don't see that as a big issue. Like that's mostly to combat one of the big fallacies in human psychology of the peer pressure. So if you see a lot of negatives, more people are likely to click the negative than if they just watch the video. And so because they're swayed by the other negative votes rather than the content of the videos, they're not honestly gauging the content of the video and declaring it's negative. That's why YouTube said it was better to disable it, so that they would only click the negative downvote if they actually watched the video and thought it was negative, rather than just because it was peer pressure. I can understand why they did that.
And from another contenter's point of view, it turns out that in my case, I like for the public to be able to see the downvotes, because then they'll know ahead of time if my video is crap or not. If all they see is likes, I tried this and all they see is the like button. Almost everyone clicks the downvote button when the downvote count isn't visible. It goes through the roof.
There used to be a time where YouTube did video responses. They did a lot of nice things, but they removed all those nice features. Don't want to get controversial here, but if you guys like YouTube,
PewDiePie tried that experiment too. Same thing. Downvotes increased. when you hit the counter.
Anyways, God 420, the stage is yours if you want. Who wants to run the stage?
I'll hang out in here, but I don't want to run it. It's after 2 a.m. I'm tired enough. I know I could make it.
I've run it for too long. Oh, Frank's there. You know what? I'm just gonna leave. Take off.
Yep. See you. Have a nice night.
Whoever wants to run the stage can have it.
Lay Slay 13. Is it true that I'm afraid of William Lane Craig? No, I've sent him like 20 debate invites and he has not gotten back to me. So he is afraid of me. That is fact.
Take care, guys.
See ya.
Later.
Whoa.
Jump, have you done any work on aesthetics?
No, never really been interested in beauty.
Okay. That's my line of work.
You're a beautician?
No, I'm a ballet dancer.
Oh.
Got an MFA in choreography and performance.
Damn it.
Oh, you cut out there.
I was saying damn it because I'm being killed in my game.
Ah, got it.
A bunch of enemies and no high ground cover. So where do you do ballet? Are you in school for it or?
No, I'm with Twin Cities Ballet in Lakeville.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's good fun. Best job in the world, man.
I'm a YouTuber. We can debate that one.
Well, I finally tried something risky for me this morning that I shouldn't probably have been doing, but I did it anyways. I have
Cocaine?
vertigo.
Vertigo.
You know what that means?
You're afraid of
Inner
heights.
ears are messed up. No, I can't. Sometimes I'll fall down for no reason.
Oh, really?
But I felt good enough this morning. I got on a skateboard for the first time in about 5 years. That
Skateboard.
was so exhilarating. Skateboard.
I saw Robert Brown doing that recently.
Yeah.
Did you fall?
Oh yeah. But I managed to get up and I managed to do some riding without killing myself. I hadn't done that in so long. It was exhilarating.
Have you seen the Robert Brown videos? The professor guy who I have on occasionally?
No, I haven't.
I think I did 4 or 5 conversations with him. He started doing rollerblading again, and he's not rollerblading, skateboarding, and he's posted the videos on his YouTube channel while talking about philosophy.
Just DM me a link to one of the videos in direct DMs when you ever get a chance. No rush. Won't be doing it tonight. Watching it. I'm just staying awake as long as I can, so I can completely burn myself out. So I might actually sleep for once. That's the other problem I got.
You need to watch ASMR. Watch lots of ASMR.
Doesn't do it any good. Actually, it locks me right on full power. Some reason Discord knocks me out. That's one reason I enjoy so much being a moderator on these servers and admins and stuff. It's because I can go in and read more of the servers than normal. I can help out once in a while. It's just, for me, it's a thrill when I get the admin role. Like, finally truly that I'm real.
Well, it's very easy to get that here. All you gotta do is pay me $5 a month. Magical
I said
admin.
admin.
Oh, admin. Oh, that's different. Oh yeah, I forgot. I actually had admin set below mods, so mods could just make themselves admins, and I didn't realize it. I think that's how half the admins got their roles, because I think I only gave admin to Scotty, Rank, and Ilmatic, and Quantum.
Yeah. Well, if you do it, you know that you'll get the most harmless person you could give that to.
I kind of just leave that up to them now.
Put in a good word for me every server.
Notification.
I'll see it in mod chat, won't I? The notification. Or, yeah, mod chat. Finally started seeing that channel yesterday for the first time. I think PP mod's a lot more restricted than regular mod. These mothers on there.
Ouch.
And admin will get rid of that 2FA crap that it shows me all the time.
The two-factor. No, I think that's required for all admins and mods. It's required for me.
Yeah. Well, I'll still see it then, but I'll still see a lot more channels.
That's suspicious. I got an ad, an email saying people want a PR manager of Canon from CZ. I don't think so. Really? Advertising campaign for new projects. Yes, I would love a new $5,000 Canon camera. Please send it to me. Should the total amount should not exceed $7,000. Yeah, I'm suspicious that that's legit.
Probably not. Probably just a way to get your email.
Well, they already sent it to my email. That's how I got it. Got it from my email. My email is just on my YouTube channel. It's on the About section. Just go to the About section. There's my business email.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. I used to don't bother fucking around with people's emails unless it's the only way I can get a hold of them.
I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing in this mission. I'm just going around killing everyone because there's no mission marker that tells me what to do, and I wasn't listening to anything that was said.
You can always go to members, code 420, roles, admin.
What? That's not a mission in this game.
I just torment you. I'm tired. Sorry.
Got another email. Uh-oh. I had ribs tonight. I heard like ribs are pretty good.
Well, I had double bacon moose burger with cheese.
Do you have that every night?
Nope. Once in a while I'll have a double bacon deer burger.
You live in the boonies?
Yep.
You hunt your own moose?
It's happened a few times. Don't get in front of me. No, don't get between me and the moose.
I'm more afraid of the moose. Mooses are mean.
Why?
Because they're big and they charge you and they kill you. Mooses are very, very, very territorial.
I'd love to see the moose come straight at me. I'll be emptying 2 chambers very quickly if it happened.
2 like a shotgun?
Well, 2 rounds. Sure, a 30-30 is going to do a good number. It did before. Yes, I know I got an old one. I got 30-30. What do you got?
I don't own a gun. I just borrow my friends' guns to go to the range. It's actually... They can't give me a gun because I had severe suicidal depression, so...
Ouch. Okay, remind me not to let you play with boys. And I'll keep you away from my capacitor bank.
Capacitor bank? Like, I will electrocute everyone.
I don't need to witness a steam explosion.
Oh, this is where I was before.
Yeah, 50,000 amp spike at 22,000 volts wouldn't feel good.
That's what they used in Jurassic Park, isn't it? To keep the T-Rex in?
No, this actually will generate 50,000 amp spike. The EMP off it will stop a mechanical clock from about 100 feet away.
Oops. Antipode, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the time for Z's. Should change this to an ASMR channel to help people sleep. I'd like to do that. I'd like to make an ASMR channel.
Give me admin, I'll make it for you.
An ASMR YouTube channel.
No, I can
What
do that
what would work? I would be willing to give you admin if you set up regular debates and stuff like the other guys are doing, like Elmatic
I can
getting
do that.
professors. Yeah, so get me professors, get me debates, then you can definitely make you an admin. Because that's what I want more than anything. I want people to set up debates for me, like with
Well, I
theists.
figured I'm just a mod, so it's not quite as exciting.
Well, so start setting up regular debates. I'll make you an admin like the other guys who do. Like Jen hosts stuff. She hosted the thing with Matt Slick when Illmatic wasn't here. Jen does good work. I'm glad I made Jen a mod. Or Jen made Jen a mod because she paid me.
I'm sure eventually there's a threshold where you'll decide, he's good enough at it, he doesn't have to pay for it. Or she, or they, or whoever it may be.
I think you underestimate my desire for money.
What about a desire for friendships?
I think I care about money more.
I care about friends quite a bit. Once you get a loyalty out of me, you've got it.
So I have a local pastor that I've been debating for a bit now, and he's got some kind of affiliation with a church in Missouri, and I've told him about you being around and that we should facilitate something. What's your rate?
I did $50, or if I have other people setting them up for me, I usually don't charge anything, especially on Discord. Discord is just free. Just set them up on Discord for me. I'll come in whenever. But for if it's in person and local, I'll do it for free too. Normally what I get paid to do events and stuff is just either $500 and the hotel costs or something like that, hotel plane costs. But if we're doing it locally, you can just fly them in. I'll do it for free. We can do it with campus atheists, skeptics, and humanists here.
Oh, cool.
I'm part of the University of Minnesota atheist group. They can host stuff like that. We can get it on a stage at the University of Minnesota.
Very cool. Yeah, I was on their podcast. I can't remember what it was called, but I bet we could get you on there too.
Awesome.
Hey, T-Jump, I might invite one of my other accounts on. If I'm going to do set up things like that, what I'll probably do is I'll bring in one of my other accounts and use it to stream to YouTube. Because it's much more effective than what you're doing. Because it's two separate machines.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I think Frank has a TJump Discord channel where you upload stuff, and I think there's a way to have secondary mods and stuff upload. That would be cool. But I would like to build that TJump YouTube Discord thingy.
You see how my other one works? What I do is I bring it into a channel. I turn him on. I turn on so that he can, of course, see the screen and everything that's going on, hear everything. And then I mute its microphone and it just sits there. And whatever's going on in the room, it both hears, sees, and records.
Cool.
And puts it to YouTube. And then .God420 is just an admin or a moderator in the channel. Just going to make the other account immune to the AFK bot.
Tom, what's up, man?
Hey, Frank, how's it going?
Pretty good. I was gonna tell you that the Discord YouTube channel has 100 subscribers, and our most viewed
Nice.
videos, yeah, and most of these videos like 500 views.
Nice.
Nothing.
Yeah, you're doing really good. Like that for just uploading Discord combos. That's extremely good. Like my other one's only like 370, my gaming one. So that's really good. So yeah, if we can get that one up to 1,000, that would be awesome.
That's the goal. I don't know what to record, so I have to like
Just
the other
everything.
day, everything, right?
Yep. Like just this
Yeah.
convo, just any convo on Discord is really all you need.
Right.
Oh, I subbed to that ages ago. I have no idea how long ago. I just went and looked. Yeah, it's already been subbed ages ago. That one, and there's a white one here for gaming.
Yep, the TJUM gaming one.
I never use that one, but it's there.
Yep. I use it as a backup, so I stream all of this stuff to it, and then whenever I just do gaming, I sometimes just stream from the PlayStation to it directly.
What have I got here? 386 channels that I'm on YouTube.
You mean subscribe to?
Yeah, and 84 of them I mod.
Nice.
It's annoying, but it's fun.
Most of the channels I subscribe to are theists. Where I can
I'm
get
moderator
content.
on Aaron Raw's channel.
Cool. Cutscene.
That's fun. Small channel, eh? On and off. He's only got 264,000 subscribers, so he's not a big channel by YouTube standards. There's Canadian Catholic. I have no idea who gave me the weird fucker, but apparently I got that roll. I have a suspicion I know who did it, but I'm not sure of that.
You and like Eddie have a feud or something, right?
Say what when?
You and Eddie were in a feud, or somebody else?
Oh yeah, me and Eddie got into a debate about abortion, but we made up later in text channel. I got no hard feelings. I think he did what he did, just out of anger with, the fact that I couldn't change my position. We won't get into that debate unless you want to. That'll open up a whole new can of worms, especially in your comment channel on YouTube, probably.
I doubt it. It's not that big of a deal. Like I do, the biggest one are the trans issues ones. Those are the ones that usually start fights.
Yeah, they do. I got one of them going once on the Flat Earth channel. Boy, the Flat Earthers didn't take kindly to that one.
Oh, am I supposed to run now?
Yeah, so you put one foot in front of the other very rapidly. Yeah. I don't see a lot of Nirvana in here last few days.
He has had a rough few weeks.
Oh, that explains his scarceness. I'm on a server. You are too, obviously.
I am.
I think. If not, I'm surprised. Yeah, you are. Philosophical one you're on. I didn't know you were on friction though. What? Friction? Is that? You ever post your videos around other servers?
Nope. I don't do anything on the other servers pretty much.
You don't get anyone else to do it once in a while?
That would be nice. Sure, if you want to do it, that'd be awesome. Yeah, you can promote the thingy in the 22nd. The Q&A with Randall Rouser. Yeah, those are definitely the things I'm looking for most, are people to promote on other Discords and Facebook groups and set up debates. Set up debates is the big one, though.
Yeah, because I do have a freely open channel on my server where you can post any shows, any programs, you know, as long as it's within TOS. And you can even advertise Discord servers there, which on my server, your server is already advertised.
Nice.
It's been advertised for quite a while.
I'm just too lazy to do
It's
it.
also advertised fully in my profile. If you click the About Me, you'll find it.
Cool. Do you do the thing like on mine? I put it in the, what's it?
Just click me. You know.
Well, like if you look at my name on general chat or whatever, like you can see there's a youtube.com/tjump like under my name.
Yeah. Mine, it's I've got Rascals, Toms, PSF, TJump, and PNR. In the About Me. Plain sight.
Yours, I see callme.god420, the
click on me
server. Well, yeah, but it's clicking on you. No one clicks on anybody, so I like it. Put it under the name is better, I think.
Yeah. That there has to do with a couple of the flat Earth servers that tried to pull a stunt on me.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Hey, so Tom, I went to this server called Disciples of Christ, right?
Yep.
Just
Oh,
looking for debate opponents for you.
Awesome.
And so I went in there and I was like trying to discuss like, hey, do you guys want to debate or whatever? And they were like, no, we don't do debates. And then they started debating me. I'm like, okay.
So you've been like, oh, so you guys do debates. You guys enjoy this stuff. You should come onto the Discord.
Yeah.
Like what could work too is you could ask for like a group debate or a group convo between our server and their server and just host it here and just have all of them come and talk at the same time. That would be fine.
And Buddy there the other night, he knows I know him as Brute Facts, but I knew who you meant. Hi, Ralph. What's going on here in the audio log?
Hades was a really good game. I enjoyed that a lot. It's your birthday, Frank? What?
Let's see what you did now. Roll. Next time ask me. Silver. Look, red one in here.
Well, this was fun, guys. TJump, I sent you that email, and
cool.
the turkey's all primed and ready.
Awesome.
So we'd love to see you tomorrow.
Awesome. Talk
My
to you
wife's a
later.
fan. Yeah, take care, buddy.
See ya.
Guess you're getting low on numbers.
Yep, I'm probably gonna head off too, get some coffee and watch an anime probably. All right, I'll see you guys later.